Crafty friends, welcome back. It is Laura for Crafty Not Shifty, and today I am going to be DItrying some hot glue hacks. This is a book that has 50 fun and creative decor, fashion, gift and holiday projects to make with your glue gun. And it was written by two wonderful ladies that I'm looking forward to seeing again in January. And I figured I would pick up a copy of their book and give some of these a try. So let's jump right in.
So I will be testing 5 of these hot glue hacks today, and the first one is this honeycomb bowl. So you start off with a bowl as a template and you wrap it in some tissue paper, and you can dampen the tissue paper just a little to help it kind of form and hold its shape around the bowl. And that's going to make sure that you don't damage your bowl at all, and it helps you to remove everything when you've finished, which I thought was a really great tip that I hadn't seen before. So here I have my drip-less glue gun. This is my favorite glue gun that I have experience working with, and I'm going to be using this for all of the hacks along with my little glue gun silicone mat that I have just off to the left there. So you start by making a circle in the center. Mine turned into more of a blob, and then you work your way around creating the honeycomb pattern, just kind of following it around and starting with that base in the middle, creating those loops, and then once you've done a complete circle, going back and creating another loop from the top point of each of those circles. Now, this was my first time using these glue sticks, and an awful lot of glue was coming out, so you can see that mine kind of gets a little bit gloopy and a little bit messy, but for a first try it wasn't too bad at all, and you'll see as the video goes on I definitely got used to working with these particular glue sticks, and my control got a little better. So once I'd worked my way all the way down to the bottom of the bowl, I was looking at it and I realized that some of my kind of scallops, I think they turned out more kind of like scallops than they did honeycomb, but there we go. I realized that some of them were quite large and anything I put in the bowl would just kind of fall straight through, so I went back and added some more just to fill in those gaps. I let everything cool completely, and then you can just use that tissue paper to pop everything off the bowl. The bowl isn't damaged at all and it's really easy to remove, and then you can tear away the excess tissue paper, and all those bits that are kind of caught on the inside, you can get rid of those just by spraying it down with some water and then just using your fingers or a paintbrush to rub away any of that softened tissue paper, and it came away really easily. I did find that I had quite a few glue strings on this project, so I just ran over it with my heat tool for a couple of seconds. I made sure not to apply too much heat because I didn't want to remelt the larger parts of the glue that were holding everything together, but it got rid of some of those wispy bits that I didn't want to be in the finished bowl. So once that was all finished, I filled it up with sweets and it works perfectly. It's a really cute functional bowl. I definitely would make a slightly better one if I tried it now that I'm used to my glue gun, but it's really not bad at all for a first attempt. So I'm going to say that that first one is a success. So for the second test, I'm actually going to combine this embellished mint tin with these spring daisies. So it's kind of a 2-for-1 on this one. I have this cute little mint tin that was actually given to me as a gift from Arizona, as you can see. And this hack is to, instead of this be a really flat surface, to create a 3D lid. So you're basically altering the structure of this and then you can decorate it however you like. And it's really easy. You just want to go around the edges to create a barrier, and I'm sticking with the white glue because that's what was in my glue gun already, and then you just fill in the top. So while that is drying, I'm going to move on to the daisies, and the idea here is that you pipe out a small piece of the glue, kind of thicker at the top and thinner at the bottom, and then you press those pieces down on your silicone mat to make these thin petal shapes. Now, I tried this so many times and I could not get the perfect shape. This is probably the closest that I came to getting the perfect shape. I don't know if I was applying too much pressure, if I wasn't using enough glue, if I was using too much glue, but I did manage to create these thin slices, I guess, of glue. And once I had a whole bunch of these from trying this out, I actually went ahead and used my scissors to trim these into the petal shapes that I wanted. So I didn't quite have the skill to execute the hack as directed, but I managed to get around it with a pair of scissors, and the petal shapes look just fine to me. So now that I have each of those petal shapes kind of fixed by trimming them out with the scissors, I'm going to apply a small blob of glue onto this silicone mat, which, remember, the glue will remove really easily from this mat, and then I'll form the flower shape and just add a little bit of glue onto the top to hold all of that in place. So now we're going to move back to the lid of this tin, and I'm just smoothing the edges of that glue that we added to the top. It was a little bumpy and uneven, so I used some sandpaper just to sand that down and make it really nice and smooth. And I am going to be spray painting this whole tin, including that top, so I knew it didn't matter if the sandpaper left some kind of funny marks on that white glue surface. Before I go ahead and spray paint everything, I'm just going to use the last of that glue stick to add another drop of glue to hold the daisy in place, and I think it looks super cute. Then I grabbed some rose gold spray paint, took everything outside, and added a couple coats of rose gold spray paint, and now I have this little altered tin, and I can go ahead and grab a metallic Sharpie and write a note on the top. So again, super fun. I maybe didn't create the daisy exactly as intended, but it turned out really cute in the end. So I'm going to give a thumbs up to both those hacks. So hack 3, and this is definitely one of my favorites of all the ones I tried. You've got these templates included in the book to create these glittery Christmas ornaments. I decided not to use glittery hot glue. I'm actually using green here, and I'm adding a small dot at the top of this Christmas tree just to place the hanging element of this ornament. So I've got some ribbon that I just folded and tied a knot to create that loop. And then I'm going to go ahead and fill in this whole design using some green glue this time. So you will notice as I'm doing this, I outline the whole thing and then fill it in a similar way to how we did with the mint tin. But you'll see that some of the glue has some of that white colouring in place, and that is just part of changing the colours in a glue gun. You may see some people recommend that if you're partway through using a hot glue stick, you can just pull it out and then change colours. However, it is definitely recommended to completely finish the glue stick that you're using before moving on to another colour or adding another stick, because if you constantly pull them out backwards, then you're kind of damaging the mechanism inside that pushes the glue forwards. Anyway, just a side note on why there is some white included in this green, but I actually think it looks really pretty. And if you wanted to avoid that, you could just pump some of the glue out until you've completely used up any of that white that's sitting inside the gun, and then it would be perfectly green. So while I was rambling about that public service announcement on how to change your glue sticks, I started to add some baubles to the tree. I've switched to a gold colour, and I'm adding just these little circles on the top of the tree, and you can see some of them are trying to kind of slide or drip off the side of the Christmas tree, and I'm just using a little silicone tool to kind of hold those in place. Again, the glue won't stick to the silicone, and this little silicone tool is actually designed for use in decorating your nails, so you can use one of those. I believe you can get dedicated tools that are designed for hot glue use, but any silicone tool like that will work just great. So once you've finished decorating the tree, all you need to do is leave it to dry and then peel it up off the silicone mat, and you have this adorable Christmas tree decoration. As I say, definitely one of my favorites. So for hack number 4, this is a party cake topper, and one of the things that's really great about this is you could create whatever you like. The example in the book is the word party, but I decided to go with a number 3 because my niece was turning 3 and I thought we could put it in a cake and that would be really fun. So I just drew this template here. I drew it in pencil first, and then I'm going over it with a darker pen just so it really stands out, so I've got something to follow along. And then I'm going to place my silicone mat over the top of this so I can see that design through the mat, and then just like I've done with the previous hack, I'm going to go ahead and outline this whole piece and then fill in the design. You can see that I've picked up 2 cocktail sticks. They're going to be used to hold everything together, so we've got something to push into the cake so this will stand up. And I'll go ahead and fast forward because you've seen me do this outline and fill in process a couple times now, so I think you get the idea of how this one goes. So once it is fully dry, you just peel it away from that silicone mat and you have this really sturdy cake topper. I think this one is really lovely and that gold glittery glue just looks perfect. So we actually forgot to put this in her main cake, but no problem, I went ahead and popped it into a cupcake and it looks just as cute. So moving into the final hack, this is hack number 5 and this is hot glue etching. So for this one, it does not matter at all what color glue you're using. So this is great to use up any of the color that's left in your gun while you're changing your color glue stick. Again, I'm back on this public service announcement. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I'm using up the gold glitter and I've added a white glue stick for my next project. And I'm just adding circles onto this small jar. I'm going to use this as a tea light holder. And the reason it doesn't matter what color those circles are or the heart design that we create is because it's actually going to be removed before we're finished with this project. The hot glue won't stick permanently to glass, so once it's dry you can go ahead and pick it off, and it's also great because if you make a mistake with your design, as I did a couple times, you can just pop off those pieces and start again. You then want to etch your jar. I use this glass etching spray that you just spray onto the glass and it creates this etching effect. And then once it's fully dry, you can just pick off all of those glue pieces and any of that glue or any of the glass that was protected by the glue won't be etched. And it works wonderfully for creating a tea light holder because any of that light will shine through more strongly where the glass isn't etched, and it'll be a little bit muted behind the etching, which gives a really fun effect. So I'll show you, this is what it looks like here. I have, of course, just a battery operated tea light because I do have the lid closed, and that wouldn't work with a real tea light.
Okay, so that is all 5 of my glue gun hacks tested. I really enjoyed them. Some worked a little bit better than others. A lot of that really was to do with my skills with the glue gun. For example, the bowl, it's really nice, but it's kind of, well, really nice might be an over-exaggeration. It was really fun, but it's a little jaggedy, a little rustic and handmade, but it's really cool. It functions as a bowl, so I like that. I think my favourite and the most successful was probably the number 3 little cake topper. I think that turned out really, really well. And the hanging tree decoration is pretty cool as well. I think the jar is really fun. It was definitely a creative way to kind of create the masking for this jar using the glue gun. And probably my least successful would be the little tin that we made. So I haven't actually decorated it here yet, but you can go ahead and grab a Sharpie and kind of write something along there. It definitely created more dimension here and gave it like a more fun lid. The little daisy I wasn't great at making, but it turned out really cute in the end, so that's kind of cool. But it's probably the one where I see like the least point to, I guess. But that could have just been, I mean, there's over 50 different hacks in this book, so there's definitely some fun ones in there to try. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Do let me know if you've tried any of these or any of the other hacks from the book, and I'll have a link in the description below to the supplies used and also to the book. I hope to see you guys back here again soon, but that is all from me today. Bye for now.
Thank you so much for sticking around until the very end of the video. On screen right now are a couple more videos that I think you might enjoy, so you can go ahead and tap on the thumbnails to be taken straight through to those videos. If you haven't already subscribed, you can go ahead and click on the logo on screen right now to subscribe, and you can ring the bell to switch on post notifications. I hope to see you all back here again soon, but that is all from me today. Bye for now.